very grateful. But to everybody watching, welcome to our student interviews. Today we have a special guest and someone that we are very, very proud to introduce. We have an accredited student with us here today, Lauren Rouse. Is that a correct pronunciation of your last name? Who
Yeah.
was also an awarded National Student of the Year from the AUSActive award ceremony. So we are very, very grateful to have her here for our one-on-one interview. Lauren, would you do us a favor and do a short introduction of yourself, what you're currently doing, a little bit about you and your career today?
Yeah, sure. So I am obviously just a accredited student earlier this year. I started as an occupational therapist, and then I have left that field for a little while. And in 2019, I was sitting in a surgeon's office expecting to have another surgery. And he basically said to me, that's it for you. You're going to lose function of your arm. You're going to basically live with chronic pain for the rest of your life. Stop doing any movements that's going to cause pain. So sitting in the surgeon's office, I'm sitting in pain going, okay, well, this doesn't make any sense. As an OT, I know if you stop using something, all you're going to do is lose function of it. So I then basically spent the next 2 or 3 years doing any course, any sort of research that I could to try and rehabilitate my shoulder. And through strength and conditioning work, I've been able to, I used to not be able to lift my arm above 90 degrees, and now I'm lifting 30, 40 kilos overhead. And I realized that I had the skills and the knowledge, the anatomy and biomechanics knowledge to be able to rehabilitate myself. But I realized there's probably a whole bunch of people sitting out there who don't know how to do this or don't have the skills or the motivation to actually help themselves and are probably sitting on the couch in chronic pain going, well, that's it for me, I'm done. And so that's why I sought out Clean Health. And I'm like, you know what, I can teach people how to move their bodies in such a way so that they can do the activities that they want to do. So basically, I'm building my own career, which is joining occupational therapy and that idea of modifying tasks, the personal, the environment, and then personal training with that strength and conditioning. And I'm sort of trying to meld them together. So I'm working at the moment at Pinnacle Spine and Sports, which is a physio and chiro clinic. And I'm working as a functional exercise coach. And basically, the clients that I'm getting clients that have finished their sort of acute rehabilitation with the physio and the chiro and need that either conditioning work or that strength work or that mobility or flexibility work. And so then I work personally with them to help them to then either return to regular weight training or strength and conditioning work or just even daily life. And then I'm also running classes which we've called strength and length classes. And so it's a combination of strength and range flexibility. So yeah, it keeps me busy.
And it's quite inspiring to hear that your own story and journey inspired you to pursue a career where you're able to help other people who were in your position. We noticed that a lot about the students that we have spoken to before when it comes to, starting a career as a PT. And it's evident that you're not just a, qualified PT, but you're kind of merging your existing career and adding on to that by being a certified PT. Talk to us a little bit about, in the world where there are so many options to become qualified, what sparked that decision to choose Clean Health out of all the other providers for your qualification?
Yeah, absolutely. I think the really big selling point for me is I actually started my fitness journey a few years before that. And Lauren Simpson happened to be the person that I found online as a trainer when I was trying to lose weight for myself. And so Clean Health was always just subtly thrown in there because she did her qualifications through there, and so did Mark Carroll, was always talking about Clean Health. And so I always subtly in the background had this idea of Clean Health. And so it actually was the first place that I went to when I was like, I need to get these qualifications. And so I did actually look at a few of the other options as well, but Clean Health was the option that obviously obviously fitted my needs perfectly. It was well priced. I'd already heard about some of the extra little programs, and to be honest, those extra programs that come as a package are stunning, and I would highly recommend those as well. But yeah, I guess it was just the place that was the best for me, and also the fact that it was in Sydney, and I'm also in Sydney, and it was really convenient.
Yeah. Yeah, and so that kind of gets me, to dig a little bit deeper to find out what was one of your favorite parts about your learning experience when you were getting your accredited qualification through us.
I mean, I'm sure probably everybody says this too, but the actual work placements are by far and away the best part. You spend so much time in front of your computer and reading and learning, which you do absolutely need to do. And I mean, I just won Student of the Year, so I spend a lot of time reading and researching and learning. But the being in a room with a qualified personal trainer and getting hands on with the clients and talking about, I guess, throwing ideas around the room and I one of the placements I did, I obviously had knowledge in a different area, whereas they had some more experience, and so being able to then integrate the things that I knew and then learning from the experience of them was just an absolutely stunning experience.
That's so awesome to hear. And one of the things that Clean Health really does do really well, I myself was a student before I became a master coach with Clean Health, is that they thrive off of student feedback. So whenever there is any feedback, good, even some critical feedback, Clean Health does an amazing job to amend, to bring the best student experience. And each and every year, there are updates to not only the education platforms, to the way the education is provided. So hearing feedback like that, obviously Clean Health is really happy to hear. Now, going a little bit back to you before we talk more about your studies with Clean Health, what would you say are some of the goals you have set for yourself for your PT career moving forward? Now that you've achieved quite a good amount of accomplishments within your first year of being a qualified PT, what does the next year look like for you, or you're aspiring for it to look like?
Yeah, so at the moment, I'm actually still working my full time job in the education department, and I really wanted to build my career into that rehabilitation sector, and I personally thought that was going to be something that was really difficult to do on my own, and so I really did want to be attached to a physio or a chiro clinic or something like that. And so at the moment, I'm sort of working a part-time role there. Although, as everybody who's in the PT industry knows, it's not a 9 to 5 type of job. Your clients are always messaging you during the day. You wake up in the morning and someone messages you at 3 a.m. for some crazy reason. So yeah, I guess I really want to. Yeah, I really want to build my personal training career, and I do want that to be the more full-time area that I'm working in. So yeah, just slowly working on that. Obviously, I've got to build my client base up so that the company that I'm working for can actually afford to take me on in a larger capacity. But I'm also really keen for the mentoring side of things as well. As a new PT, and also as someone who's working in a fairly niche environment, finding someone to be able to bounce your ideas off, I've actually found is really challenging. And so because I'm working in this end range flexibility and the conditioning side of things, I've been really searching for the right mentor, because obviously I'm the only PT working in an allied health clinic. So no one's really critiquing the things that I'm doing at the moment. So yeah, finding some really good support networks is definitely on the cards for me.
One of the things I can personally recommend when it comes to networking is to look into networking within our student group. And for anybody that is going to be watching this, our student group on Facebook is a community that we have built and grown for all of this, our Clean Health students. But also, whenever you have troubles with something, questions, whether it's about a specific client, any insight, education, advice, a lot of our students, the way the community has grown is everybody's there to support each other. And it's an environment where if you want to network and try to find someone like that, that could be a really good starting point as well. We're also working on building a database for not only larger degrees of placement, but also all of our accredited PTs to be listed so that you guys can interact with each other, kind of like a directory. So that will be in
Yeah.
the works to be coming. But again, our student group is a hotspot for all things networking within everybody who, has studied with us. And it's our own little family, which I really love to see the growth that's been happening there. Now, one of the things I wanted to ask is, and this is for our aspiring PTs, but what is one of the most valuable lessons that you have learned so far into your career?
Oh. um, Yeah, it's probably the thing that I've been told the most this year. I'm someone who actually struggles with believing in myself and believing that I actually do a good job of things, even when I'm receiving positive feedback from people. So I think, I mean, I'm also a perfectionist too, and so I really struggle with thinking it doesn't go perfectly. So I think the biggest advice, which is advice that I also need to give to myself, is listen to the people around you who are actually helping you or who are giving you positive feedback. They're not just saying things because they think that's what you want to hear. They are actually genuinely a lot of the time giving you helpful advice or actually encouraging you because they genuinely do think that you are doing a good job. And so, I mean, it sounds very cliche, but genuinely believe in yourself and you can actually achieve things. I mean, I completely went into these AUSActive awards going, like reading the bios of everybody else and going, there is no way in the world that someone like me could win an award like this. And to then read that other people think that you are at the level of these people that you're reading that sound absolutely amazing was a bit of it was a major encouragement for me and a bit of a confidence booster because, yeah, a lot of the times I just go, oh, look, I'm just doing the best that I can do and I don't know if it's good enough. But you've got so many people around you who are just going, you're actually amazing at this. You need to go and pursue this as a career. So yeah, I guess just believe in yourself and listen to the people around you.
Yeah, and I wholeheartedly agree. I think especially for aspiring PTs and, PTs who have just started their career, it's that imposter syndrome and thinking, are you in the right place? Are you doing the right things? Do you know enough? And I think it's really important to understand that we all start as beginners. And one of the
Yeah,
quotes that one of our very own Sebastian Oreb always says is it takes 10 years to become an overnight success. So it's really
yeah,
easy to fall into trap of comparison to other PTs and other success stories. But at the end of the day, it is you, your own journey, your own path. And if you are taking the steps in the right direction and making progress, that's all that matters. The rate of
yeah.
change, the rate of progress, the rate of growth is all tailored to you and your journey. So I love that you brought that up because it sounds cheesy, but it tends to be overlooked. And we put a lot of pressure on ourselves, especially at the beginning of our career. And again, one of the things that we are really, really happy to share is, not only were you nominated, but you were recognized for being the National Student of the Year by AUSActive. So we want to say a big congratulations, and just like you deserve every bit of that recognition, and hopefully that inspires you to continue chasing after those aspirations and goals full force. One of the things I did want to ask, and this is more for like your sense of reflection and area of growth, what is one thing that you want to improve on as a student going into, as a student but also as a PT in your career going into the next year?
Yeah. So a big thing I've had to sort of sit and reflect on, I want to say over the last year, and it's like it's been the last 6 months, is that there isn't actually a perfect program. And even if you did a perfect program, your client doesn't necessarily do it perfectly. And I mean, I've obviously listened to a lot of
Exactly.
interviews from Sebastian Oreb as well as many other amazing coaches that are on this platform. But I guess I want to make sure for myself that I 100% or as best as I possibly can understand how the body works, how the muscles of the body are meant to function in a functional way, so that I can then build and modify programs so that they're going to help clients. And so I actually spend a huge amount of time doing corrective exercise courses, doing functional anatomy and biomechanics courses, because if I don't understand how something functions, there's no way in the world I'm going to be able to teach someone how it's meant to function correctly, but also then be able to recognize when a person's body is not moving correctly. And so often at times you learn something and then you open a can of worms and realize that that one thing you didn't know, now you now don't know 12 different things. But yeah, basically learning more, all you find out is that you actually know less about a particular subject. But yeah, I guess the thing for me is that I never want to stop learning, which, I mean, that's sort of smack on for being student of the year, isn't it? But as a PT, you're never going to stop learning, because there's always new research that's coming out. There's always new methods, the thing I guess I want to keep remembering as well is that there isn't always necessarily a one way that is going to be the correct way. And I guess that's the thing as a perfectionist that's really challenging, is I just go, I want the program that's going to work perfectly. But a lot of the time that's not necessarily the case. So making sure that I understand the fundamental baselines of everything so that you can then modify it as much as you can. Hope that answers the question.
I love that, especially because something that we always say is that we are forever students. Even if you are a PT 10, 20, 30 years into the making, there is still much to learn. And if you think you know everything, you know nothing. So you said it exactly where it comes to, there's always going to be ways to level up your knowledge, level up your, education for the sake of your career as well. And it ties me into the last question, especially being, one of the top fitness and education providers. Would you recommend Clean Health to any other student? And if so, why?
Absolutely, I would. The first reason, and I mean, I guess it's sort of understated, but the team at Clean Health are basically available 24/7, and if you had a need or something wasn't working on the platform, literally emailed you were answered back in at least 1 or 2 hours. And so it was fantastic in terms of making sure that you felt well supported. The difference with this course and some other ones is this is 100% online, which is perfect for people who are still working full time. And I mean, I did my course over COVID because we were completely working from home, and it just happened to work in my favor that was a fantastic opportunity for me to go, let's just do this. But it is a 100% online course, which is absolutely fantastic. You can work at your own pace. I think you were given 2 or 3 years to complete the course. You definitely do not need that amount of time. So it's definitely possible to do it at whatever pace you want. I think the Cert 3, I did it in about 3 or 4 months, and the Cert 4 I did in 2 or 3 months. So you can, if you work at a fairly decent pace, get all of the stuff done, which means you can just really crack into the work that you actually want to do. So it was a really great course. It was really easy to read. You don't need an advanced degree to be able to do it. And I can say that because I've done advanced degrees, but it was just a really great course and a really accessible and lovely team. And I needed help to find one of my placements, and the Clean Health guys supported me to find a placement, and here I am.
That makes me really happy, and I know the team is also really happy to hear student feedback like that. Is why we do what we do, and it's really about enhancing the learning experience, and at the end of the day, be able to be a change in the industry of coaches and providing some of the best coaches in the industry, and each one of our students ends up coming out just with that goal. So Lauren, I wanted to say a big thank you from myself and the team for taking the time to do this one-on-one interview, and hopefully the students that are going to be watching this feel inspired, if they have been hesitant or are on the edge, to pursue that career no matter what's going through their head, to know that they won't be doing it alone, from the students that support them to the to the career experts, to the whole Clean Health team. We are here to help guide, support, and encourage your entire journey. And then, Lauren, we can't wait to follow the rest of what next year has in store for you. And we were, again, super proud of your achievements that you were able to achieve with just this year. So, Lauren, again, thank you so much for taking your time for today's interview.
No problems. Thank you so much. And if
No.
anyone wants to reach out, I'm more than happy to chat to them too.
Yes, we will post this on our student Facebook group, on our social media, and be able to tag you. So if anybody is interested in connecting with Lauren to learn more about her experiences, questions specifically for her, of course, she's going to be here to answer them. Lauren, thank you again so much for your time.
Thank you so much.